We did our pre-show today, which means that we shouldn't have any difficulty with audio or video, but every time I say that...
Why would you say that?
I,
Why did you just say that?
Every time I say that, it ends up being a bit of a problem for us, so hopefully that's not going to be the case tonight, but we've repositioned the microphone. So the funny thing is, normally the complaint is always that the audio is too low, but during the pre-show, people were saying, no, it's too loud. It's like, okay, well, apparently everyone's volume knob is broken. Because
well, the problem is that everyone's volume knob ranges from everywhere, from the bottom all the way to the top. So, someone it's too loud, someone it's too quiet.
And there's nothing we can do at all. Someone says they were kidding about it being too loud. So.
That's really not helpful.
Yeah, it's actually not helpful because we actually have had problems with audio before. So guys, this is the new time for the live stream. I'm actually gonna go ahead and launch the YouTube video that says, hey, we're live. So you should probably join and not be not watching the live stream. I have a feeling that we're not gonna have a ton of viewers live tonight just because I think people aren't gonna be used to the new time.
And we told everyone like super late last night.
Yeah.
Some people today.
Yeah, some people today. And we told everyone last week that it was going to be moving to Monday, but then there's a very good reason we didn't move it to Monday, and it has to do with, like, gnomes. So he's going to hold a gun, apparently. What are you doing?
There's an echo.
It's not on.
Echo. I can't even watch because...
What?
Yeah. Oh, there's an ad.
Oh, this video might have played, I guess?
Maybe.
Yeah, it must be over. So yeah, we went with this time slot for a very good reason, and the reason for that is that because of the way that the Earth turns, and because of where the international dateline is, for some people, when we live stream, pretty much no matter what, it's going to be tomorrow. And so if it's a Monday and it lands on someone's tomorrow morning, then while we understand that it's not perfect for everyone in Australia and Asia to have it be in the morning, we figured a Saturday morning is probably better odds-wise than any other day of the week in the morning. And then the reason that we're still on for Friday night is that it was really challenging for a lot of people to stay up late in Europe when it was on like a Monday night and they had to go to work on a Tuesday, for example. And I know not everyone works 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, but we had to do something, and it couldn't stay where it was.
We tried grabbing highest possible percentages in every field, and this is what we came up with.
Yeah, I mean...
It kind of had to be 4 p.m., it kind of had to be during the week, so it was what day during the week. And if we had it, the only day that actually had an advantage was Friday. Because all the other days you run into the exact same problems. And then Friday, you have that slight advantage of some people being on Saturday, instead of some people being on during school or work at like 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You know what the irony of it is that probably one of the worst time zones for this slot is ours.
Yep.
So I had Tim from Timmy Tech TV, who's down in Seattle. He works at Microsoft. He has his own YouTube channel, and he was like,
Guys, yeah, it's kind of.
He's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to watch anymore.
Well, my
like,
mom
crap.
tries to be like over supportive in like every possible thing ever, and is just rah about everything, which is awesome. But she's like, well, I can't really watch it anymore. And I'm like, it's okay. The archive's there.
Yeah, don't worry, Mom. It's really all right. It's like
she tries to contribute things that we might talk about and stuff, but she like. I don't know. I love that she watches it, but don't understand at the exact same time, because there's no way she understands, like, 3/4 of what we're talking about. But
yeah. I mean, she probably understands when we're talking about, like, Harry Potter.
Yep.
So.
And then we talk about, like, 7790.
And then we got torn apart for talking about Harry Potter, because I gave away a bunch of spoilers, and there were viewers that...
So we can't talk about the things that she does understand.
The things your mom gets, we're not talking about anymore. I'm sorry. Sorry, Slick. You know what? Why don't we start with let's start with something pretty easy today. Why are they putting the Star Wars films on a release schedule?
Right, once every summer. Is
Yeah.
that it? Right, once every summer.
Once every summer. That's insane.
That sketches me out because stuff like Harry Potter was on a release schedule, I believe.
Well, release schedule-ish.
And Lord of the Rings was definitely on a release schedule. And
Yes.
The Hobbit is on a release schedule.
Okay, hold on.
But all of this was pre-filmed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whereas they're setting, like, as far as I know, I can't imagine they've done any degree of planning for episode 10, I guess.
It's like,
it'll
oh yeah,
be,
this
or
sounds like a
whatever
good
it
idea.
is, or episode 7, rather, pardon me. It's like, oh, so like, that's what this reeks of. It's like, what goes wrong with every, actually here, we should probably be providing the link. So this was a link on The Verge, so we are not the source for this news. So you guys can check it out here. But this really reeks of executives somewhere making a decision that has no basis in reality. This is like I look at someone like Disney and I go, yeah, they've done so many good things with so many good franchises. I kind of had faith in them. But, I mean, come on, guys. You can't rush the creative process. Like, who are you, EA? I know it's early for my shot at EA.
we have to take our weekly shot. Just, oh, bam!
It's like, how's your nuts feeling from last week? Here, let me give you another one. Ah!
You wanted a break? No.
It's like, we must have a new game. I mean, that's what happens. Sports games used to be good. Now what are they? They're rehashes of the same damn thing every time. I mean, is that what this is going to be? It's bad decisions that get made early on in the process that end up turning it into something unsustainable.
I want more blades of steel.
And I mean, okay. And another thing too is, like, look at how long it took to make the original 3, which, quite frankly, they probably shouldn't have taken quite that long.
But
like, we're looking at
the outcome.
Mark Hamill goes from like super hot youngster with really bad hair to like ugly old guy with good hair, and it's like he never won. He could never win. How did he stand a chance of being a heartthrob? Are they going to do the same thing to a whole new generation of stars? Well, no, apparently.
Well, no, definitely not.
I mean, the
problem is they're not going to age.
The next thing they have to do to really sort of make me not even bother showing up at the movie is cast Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, God.
Wasn't that awful in Indiana Jones? It's like, oh. I mean, with that said, the casting couldn't be much worse than it was for the prequel trilogy, so... And I mean, the word on the street, sort of the rumors, is that they're bringing together a lot of the original cast to play, parents and all that. They've had problems
with some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are like, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah, but hopefully they can just throw enough money at them that it actually won't matter.
It's Disney, so I kind of see that happening.
It's Disney, and it's the Star Wars franchise. I mean, just on the basis of the money they're going to be reaping from, a new sort of generation of Mark Hamill action figures. Like, if I was one of those guys that's holding out, I'd be asking for sort of a piece of some of the pie in some way, as opposed to a lump sum amount. But then if I'm Disney, I'd be crazy to give them that. So I'm sure it'll all come down to the individual negotiating tables. But I really hope they'll find a way. Because, yeah, I mean, you can bring back a series, but if you bring it back and...
kill it.
Yeah.
It's Disney. They're doing pretty damn good with their action hero movies.
I know, but they're... Okay, tell me something, though. Do they put something like Spider-Man on we have to release a new one every year? Like, what if they did that to Batman?
Oh, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because they've been doing the cartoon series for so long now.
Okay.
Star Wars, whatever it's called. I don't even know. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the animated Clone Wars movie. It was terrible. It was like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Was it?
Oh,
Is the cartoon one terrible? I haven't seen either.
I don't know. Why don't we... You know what, guys? We're opening up the Twitter boards because let us know. How is the Star Wars animated series? We'd love to hear your feedback. And we're looking for one-word answers here, guys. We don't want an essay. It is Twitter, after all. So, terrible, great. I mean, this is an acceptable response. Bam! There's another one!
1-2 punch.
Oh, man. They want to know if Slick's ever going to start his own channel. Would love to have a sort of podcast with you talking about tech stuff.
Okay, I don't know if I'll do one talking about tech stuff. Because
this is kind of a podcast.
And we're talking about tech stuff.
I mean, we're talking about Star Wars so far, but
yeah,
lightsabers are
nerdy stuff,
tech.
I guess. You're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
That I am wearing a Star Wars shirt. That's not even on purpose today.
No, I know, yeah.
That's awesome. Love it.
If I ever actually did make my own channel, it would probably be something centered around gaming. One of the big reasons why we haven't done that yet is we haven't found an approach that we find...
we have time for.
We have time for is a big one. That's like reason A, 100% of reason.
This much of the reason.
Yeah. And then a little bit of the reason is if we did that, we would want to have a unique angle, and we don't know what our unique angle would be.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is, whatever he starts, I'm going to want to cut a bit. So, I think from his perspective,
I'm
it's
just
like,
not
what's
going
the
to
point?
start anything. He's going to be like, oh, you're starting something? 99%?
99%. And, oh yeah, that's on your own time. So,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be paying you hourly for it, so don't worry about it. Let's have a look and see if we've gotten any, there we go, 28. Oh, wow, okay. Okay, Clark, that's a bit of a strong statement because Star Wars does not suck.
Yeah.
Certain implementations of Star Wars might suck. Good, awesome, so good it got canceled. Oh, and we're talking about Futurama later. Like, we are talking about Futurama.
I'm going to bring another spin into that.
Wow, James Taylor, you are banned. Can I ban people? Clone Wars is great. What do you mean get past the childishness? It's like, it's the most formula, like, dumb kids movie. It's like a Land Before Time sequel. Like, that's how formula it is. It's like the young apprentice who is, rambunctious and then ends up saving the day. So it turns out that her strong-willed, hot-headedness was good. Like, come on, it's a terrible message. No kids should watch it. No adults should watch it. Horrible, apparently. Dunno, didn't watch it. Crappy, terrible, terrible, canceled. Better than episode 1 for sure. Oh, come on, man! Saying it's better than episode 1 is like saying that it's like, more cleanly shaven than slick.
But storyline.
You have a razor, right? Okay, fine. Sorry, go ahead.
Razor's you have to buy new ones.
Letdown, sucks, horrific, awesome for kids.
Storyline. Can we get storyline instead of, like, maybe the animation sucks, maybe the dialogue is terrible, but like the storyline, because I'm wondering, is Disney going to pull anything from that storyline? Like, are they going to take anyone from that series and continue them working on the new series?
I really wish... Okay, here's the way this is going to work. Anyone from Disney, if you're watching, this is how you need to do it. Because I'm evidently an expert, because I wear a Star Wars shirt.
That
Okay?
looks super old.
If they are licensing the... No, it's like ironically retro. See, it's intentionally, like, broken.
Lame.
Yeah, I know. I'm a poser. If they're going to make this work on a 1-year release schedule, it has to be expanded universe content, where they're licensing books, because otherwise, to expect new, creative, unique, awesome, like up to the level of the original movies, Star Wars scripts on a yearly basis, plus execution on a yearly basis.
Like, brutal. What I'm worried about is what you just said. What are you basing it on? Like, what are the stories based on?
Yeah. What is the 1-year timeline based on? What is any of this based on?
Well, because story writing takes so much time before you can actually start production.
Right.
That's why I'm saying that.
And are we going to end up with a situation where it's like you have multiple teams working on it? So it's like it's a graphics card, where you have a team working on the one that's 3 generations from now, and then by the time that's actually released, they're working on something that's going to be 3 generations. Like, if you have like multiple teams, are we going to have like A, B, and C
Weird
quality
conflicts.
Star Wars movies happening every 3 years? I don't know. So, I mean, I guess it depends how much...
Many questions. All the questions.
And it seems unnecessary. Why do you need so many movies? Most of the money from Star Wars comes from merchandise anyway. I mean, just re-release the original trilogy in 4K, and it's like, whoa!
I'd buy it.
I'd buy it.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't have much money. Still buy it.
I'd still buy it.
Doesn't matter.
You know what they really need to do? Like, if Disney was really smart...
Go for it. I've got an idea, too.
Original, not special edition trilogy in 4K. Han shoots first. You know what? He did. Deal with it. In 4K, he shot first. So,
I
There.
want them to release.
I would pay for that.
You know the black and gold slider box that everyone had?
Yes.
They should just re-release that, but in Blu-ray.
That was the special edition, but not the stupid special edition, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Because I think
That was
there
like
was...
the legit one.
That was the one where Han shot first, but then I think it has the extended scene where he walks over Jabba's tail and all that other
Yeah.
stuff that they worked. And I didn't mind that one.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that one. But I still liked my originals better. Just because they're original. Mind you, they're VHS, so it's like as if I can watch those
Well, the
anymore.
gold and black box is VHS.
Yeah, I know, but I had an original, or
Yeah.
older
Yeah.
original. Okay, so James Taylor has redeemed himself. He means the
And
series,
he
not the
probably
film.
just said like 10 billion spoilers.
For what?
Star Wars.
Oh, come on! I'm gonna get
You
complaint
screw
mail.
up like every single week.
I'm gonna get hate mail for Star Wars spoilers.
Like,
I'm sure it's gonna happen.
every week.
Spoiler alert. Okay.
It's a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, James is forgiven because he means the series, not the film.
So yeah, because the animated series is the same name,
Yes.
so he's got a point.
So that's confusing. So it's kind of like Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
it's just
because
like
the new one's just entirely different.
And you know what? It's one of those things where it doesn't seem like as much of a problem because obviously, if you're looking up an article about Tomb Raider, tress effects, hair effects, or whatever else, then you know what Tomb Raider you're talking about. But when we start to get into games that are going to be like the original release is going to be on the Steam platform, and then like the later release is going to be on the Steam platform, they're just going to be the same name next to each other. How are you supposed to?
Well, Tomb Raider 1 had a suffix, did it not?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anyone ever used it.
I think it did, because with Tomb Raider, you know how they started doing that thing where like if you pre-order and then enough other people pre-order, the whole idea is that you share the fact that you can pre-order. If you pre-order and enough other people pre-order, then you unlock prizes, and there's 3 tiers of prizes.
Okay.
Tomb Raider was one of those. And I think the first tier was you got like Tomb Raider 1 and 2 for free.
Okay.
Which is like, what? I can't remember exactly what it was. Maybe Twitch chat will tell me. Hopefully Twitch chat will tell me. But yeah, so like I think it had a suffix, and like Steam can deal with it. They'll have some back-end naming convention that's different for them. It might
Okay.
be confusing in your games list, but
I mean, just the year would be okay. Tomb Raider 2013, I'd be down with that.
yeah. By the way, the headphones are SteelSeries In-Ear Pros.
But then what if Metro 2033, like 20 years from now, they re-release Metro? Blah.
Well, that's kind of like what Blood Dragon is. In the future, in 2007.
Well, yeah, but this would actually be confusing because Metro 2033 would be the same as Metro 2033, or however it would work out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
what
because
you
it would actually be that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, apparently Star Wars is decent according to Dirt Perp. What's a good budget processor? What would you buy if you were on a budget today? FX 4300 or whatever it is? It's not a bad route to go.
To be honest.
And it depends what you mean by budget.
Yeah, I hate that. Every
Yeah.
single time anyone has ever tweeted me with like, I'm on a budget, what do you suggest for X component? Well, it's just like, what does your version of budget mean?
Yeah.
I usually even ask, like, what is your version of a budget? Because some people are like, yeah, I'm on a budget, I only have $2,500 for a computer. And I'm like, okay, that's not a budget in my books.
Yeah, that's like
That's not in the usage that most people say
I could
budget.
fit a Titan into that machine with like a justifiable configuration.
Yeah.
So
But then people will be like, oh yeah, it's a budget. Because technically it is a budget.
yeah, it's a budget.
You can have $1 million budget.
And it depends what you're trying to do. I mean, if you want to, if by budget processor you mean you want to play games on onboard graphics, I'll say get an APU. If by budget processor you mean you want to edit video with as low a budget as possible, I'd say get an FX 6300. If by budget processor you mean, whatever it is that you happen to mean.
8350s do quite well at really low-end video editing.
That's a $200 chip, though.
Yeah.
Is that budget? I don't know.
See,
Anyway.
processor and motherboard for $300 to me
So now
usually
we've, like-
about $300.
We've ripped on like Baron van Ruij for a little while here.
I'm
but-
sorry, dude.
We've done a video on the ROG 7970, the Matrix. It's on the NCIXCom channel. First time watching live. Hey, shout out to Portugal. I don't think we've ever gotten a message from Portugal.
I don't know.
I don't think we're gonna have
There's a
Linus
guy from
Animated
Belgium.
Adventures.
He said it was the first time he's ever been able to be live.
Check this out. 2,300 live viewers.
Sweet.
Looks like the new time worked in spite of nobody knowing about it at all.
Nobody knowing at all.
Like me tweeting it twice.
I didn't even. Yeah, I just left because I had to go see my brother.
Yeah.
My brother won a
Yeah,
freaking championship hockey game.
I was like, "What's your problem?" Because I was like, "Oh, can you tweet it to me so I can retweet it?" I'm
I was
like
in the middle of
bathing the
doing
baby.
it. I was in the middle of doing it. My dad's just like, "Come on, there you go. I'm outside." I'm like, "Okay."
I guess you couldn't be late for your brother's thing again. That would have been just bad news bears. So Slick missed his brother's StarCraft 2 casting thing because his brother called and his phone didn't go off and.
And then because of like the baby and stuff, my brother was trying to be polite and not knock on the door, so he just kept on calling me.
And he was out there for like
kept on being
45 minutes, and
it was not.
it was not good.
and then now it was my brother's championship hockey game.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go watch it, and then my dad calls me. I'm not gonna be late for that. That wasn't my brother waiting outside.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay. Because I was going to say if
We
that
went
happened
separately.
again, he would not have been
Just
impressed.
like snap.
And his brother's actually like bigger and stronger and like just basically beefier than him.
He's like, if you look at proportions, he's slightly shorter than me, not by a lot. He's not actually short. He's just slightly shorter than me. But then he's just like, whoa!
He's a volunteer firefighter, but he takes it very seriously. So he
Yeah.
has like firefighter build.
Yeah.
So like what Slick could do to me, he could probably do to Slick.
He's picked me up and thrown me around before.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
Yeah.
He would ref in hockey, and whenever he had to ref one of my games, because everyone expected him to be biased, he would be biased against me.
Ah.
So if anything ever happened, like I got in a slight scrum with a guy once, and I just feel like this big, just like fist grabbed the back of my jersey, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. And I just go flying, and I'm like, oh no, that was bad. I know
Thanks, bro.
exactly who did that, and I know exactly who's getting the penalty. Even though I didn't think it was my fault, but I'm still happy he did it, because if he gave the other guy the penalty, everyone would have just
Oh,
been
the
like,
entire other team would have just destroyed you the rest of the
oh,
night.
it's just because he's your brother, all that crap. So
Yeah.
it was actually way better.
Oh,
in
they'd
the
have
end.
finished every check.
Yeah,
It would have been like not good.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
way better in the end that he gave me a penalty and that he threw me off. Both
Okay.
of those things actually helped.
What's your opinion of the Linfield line of processors? They were awesome. They were good value. Okay, I have a paper due soon. Watching it. Very nice. Surikizu. Worth selling a 690 to get a Titan. I'm thinking about it because of how quiet it is. How much quieter is it than a 690? This is actually a good discussion
Too
topic.
bad we don't have a 690.
I've used a 690.
I haven't.
Okay. 690 is a little bit louder. It's noticeably louder. Titan's very quiet.
One big thing is, are you running multiple screens? But that's not audio.
But okay, so audio aside, let's tackle the whole question.
Okay.
Because there's the performance delta.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, GTX 690 is a dual 680 card, essentially. Dual GPU, 4 gigs of RAM, 2 per GPU. That's important later.
Sorry, pause for one quick second. Tomb Raider 1 was Lara Croft Guardian of Light.
Shut up, it was not, was it?
Apparently, some guy just said
No, that's a different Tomb Raider.
that. Is it?
I thought Guardian of Light's a different one.
I don't know. I never played any of them. The first Tomb Raider game I ever played, like, that was on my own system. So I actually played the entire game, which I haven't actually beat yet. Was
How's she a Guardian of... Alright guys, so we think we're live again. Frames encoded is going up and frames dropped is not going up, so it looks like changing the router has not helped. Basically what's happening is while we're streaming, our internet connection is completely, no it was me, is completely dying for some completely unknown reason that we have.
we have to call our ISP because
Yeah.
it's just kind of getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
Happens like every week. We've stopped the router.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing we can do about it. It doesn't happen at all if we're not streaming through Twitch.
yep.
So
So
like we do stuff that's just as intensive on the network every
Yep.
single day.
like uploading videos to YouTube, we'll do a huge batch. Internet does not go out.
And we'll do multiple at a time, which is nuts.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a problem. So anyway, let's get back to our discussion topic because I mean, sure that's what people want us to do. So 690 versus Titan, less effective memory on the 690 because remember, guys, in SLI, whatever video memory you have per GPU. So if it's 4 gigs total, That means you have 2 gigs per GPU. That's all you effectively have, whereas a Titan has 6 gigs of memory. So when you're running at something like 4K resolution, throw that 690 in the trash because it won't work. Well, it'll work, but you'll...
Unfortunately, we didn't have a 690, but if you check out some of the results from the Titan testing that we did a while ago,
Yeah.
you can extrapolate from it where the RAM actually helped a crazy amount.
Yes. So it's already helping, even at 1080p and 2560 by 1600, which means it will help that much more when you get up to resolutions like 4K, which is... So Whaler, one of the moderators on the forum, is suggesting that it's possible that our ISP is using QoS to...
Or something.
or something to throttle us when they see us hitting the connection really hard the way that we've been doing.
Which might throttle enough that kicks off the
Right,
stream.
because our internet connection isn't dying. A lot of the time, we're still on Skype chat and still seeing Twitch chat, even though the stream is down, and it's just giving us messages that say, frames dropped, 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 dropped. Like, we're actually still connected, because when we lose our internet connection outright, XSplit completely cuts it off. Right?
Yeah.
So XSplit's still on, just telling us we're dropping every frame, which is... like helpful, but anyway, hopefully 720p will fix the issue. My laptop still doesn't have any internet connectivity, but we're back on. Okay, so I give up on this discussion topic because we're just going to have to move on. But in short, if you want to play at higher resolutions tomorrow, get a Titan. If you want to run at higher frame rates today at lower resolutions, then the 690 is still the better solution compared to the Titan. I'm really sorry for the technical difficulties this week, guys. Honestly, this is beyond our control. We've done everything that we can do.
Sorry to interject. Is it EA 4500, right?
Yeah, it's still in the A4500. So it's a high-end, powerful router. I really don't think that's the issue. So first time watching in Germany. Hello, Germany. And I'm glad to hear that the new schedule is way better for you guys. Same thing with Italy. First time from there. Good morning from the Philippines. Thank you for waking up early, and I'm sorry that we were not here for a little while, and I'm sure that all these Twitter messages are about that we weren't here. So why don't we move into our next discussion topic? ZTE has caved and is paying royalties to Microsoft on their Android devices. So let's go ahead and fire that bad boy up. There you go, guys. So this is a Daily Tech article. Another one bites the dust. So what are the implications of this?
The another one bites a dust thing?
No, not another one. That's a song.
I was like, why do you... What? What?
So,
I don't know. Microsoft is going around trumping everyone.
Okay, but why? I mean, what spurred this? Because I'm sure they could have done this a generation or two ago if they felt like it.
Well, we talked earlier.
Right, but they weren't there. Okay. That's the point.
And it just feels weird.
I'm like, come on, say the thing.
I'm trying to grab the doc so I can tweet it out so people can actually get the link for themselves.
Huh? Oh, don't worry about that. Talk to them.
Okay, so Microsoft has Windows 8 Phone, and Windows 8, everyone's going on crazy patent wars right now, and Microsoft has tons. And with Windows 8 Phone, a few people were like, hey, pay us money for royalties and stuff. So Microsoft kind of got tired of it and was like, fine, you know what? All of you are paying us all the money. Because if you guys are going to be jerks, we're just going to be way bigger jerks than you are.
So, I mean, we discussed this a little bit last week, where Microsoft's bringing in $10+ often per Android device sold from the manufacturers, regardless of whatever else. More than half of the Android devices. This was before the ZTE... the ZTE sort of capitulation here.
Capitulation.
Yeah, well, that's the actual word. I know. I was looking for a simpler one, but that's before they threw in the towel, and so now it's getting to the point where pretty much whatever Android device you buy, you are giving money to Microsoft, and that is the way that it is going to be.
Yeah. Basically. It's just another one to their list. What's going on with your computer?
I keep this button is stupid. Yeah, don't worry about it. I just keep accidentally hitting it because it's on the side.
It's so noticeable because it's so loud. His laptop keeps turning off or going into sleep or something because there's a button on the side.
Yeah, it's just sleeping.
And he just keeps hitting it. It's so weird. Yeah, they're still gonna go after more. They're still gonna just start grabbing all the money. They're saying like Motorola patents. If anyone was following Motorola patents from back in the day when all that stuff was going on, back in the day, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
If you're following that at all, you know how big of a deal that was, and people are speculating that the Microsoft patents are worth around 1,000 times more.
Right.
So that was such a huge deal, and this is worth 1,000 times more. It's just like. Yeah,
That's gonna sustain them for a while, I suspect. For those of I keep seeing these articles. Microsoft's doomed. Microsoft's going down. Microsoft won't exist. Yes, they will.
Microsoft will find a way.
Yes, they will. Microsoft is going to take over the living room with the next generation Xbox. Here, that's my prediction. Microsoft's gonna win. I personally won't own one. All right. I might own one, but I won't have it hooked up. So I personally won't use one, but they're gonna own it. And that is a huge victory. Never mind if, they can't get their foot in the door mobile-wise for a little while longer, however long it takes. The fact that they own all these patents is going to give them enough money that they can do whatever they need to do to get competitive in whatever other spaces. It's not like Chrome OS is going to be taking over anytime soon. In spite of what people might hope, it's not like Linux is going to be taking over anytime soon. It's still so fragmented. Yeah. Yeah, you can make it fine. Go ahead. Give your rebuttal.
That's okay.
Go ahead. You know it's not going to happen.
Steam's moving to Linux. Groups like Ubuntu and Mint are making very, very user-friendly versions of
How
Linux.
long have they been doing that?
Quite a while.
Yeah.
And they're increasing constantly.
Okay.
So you can just stay over there. I don't know where I was going with that. Their user base is constantly increasing. It's constantly getting easier to use, and more things are constantly being adapted to be able to use it.
Okay.
Like every single Kickstarter that gets launched has a stretch goal for Linux because so many people ask for it. Steam is going to be adapting to Linux.
Okay.
A lot of PC users are no longer happy with the Windows experience with Windows 8.
Speaking of the Windows experience with Windows 8, here's another Daily Tech article that we wanted to bring up today, and that is the rumor. I think The Verge reported on this as well, that the Start button will be returning in Windows 8.1, which might be called Windows Blue or whatever it is they're going to call it. But the catch is that it dumps you in the, they're calling it Metro, but I think what they mean to say is modern UI, which is, of course, very different from Metro.
Daily Tech actually got this from The Verge.
From The Verge.
I just didn't go get the Verge article because I was trying to go really quickly.
Okay, well, it's The Verge's scoop. So Daily Tech picked it up from there. And, honestly, what's the point? Because I don't know how many of you guys have used Windows 8 extensively at this time, but check this out, okay? This is a Windows 8 notebook, okay? I'm going to take my mouse cursor, I'm going to move it down to the bottom left, and what y'all are going to see is that there's a little preview of something there that says Start on it, actually, and if I click, it will take me to the modern UI. So if the basic difference here is that Microsoft thinks that the problem is the absence of the Start button, then they're really missing the point.
It's like there's two little kids, and the one kid asks for the sucker, so the big kid takes the top off and gives them the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like, there's your sucker.
It's like, yeah, you have a sucker. It's like, but you licked that one and took all the
Good
candy
stuff.
off it.
It's not
It's,
what I actually wanted.
the good thing about the Start menu is small mouse movements. Think about that. Small mouse movement. That's what's good about a UI, is less motion, fewer clicks. And Metro, even with the smallest tile sizes here, is going to be, just to go from one thing to something 6 away, is going to be all the way across your screen. Who wants to do that? I mean, computer users are notoriously lazy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If it takes...
That's why we use the computer in most points of time.
And you know what? I know the search is supposed to mitigate that somewhat, but honestly, I don't feel it. Typing to get to a program, unless you already remember the name of the program. And I mean...
And then with the new search,
And the search that sorts
terrible.
by control panel versus... How have they not patched that?
It's so bad.
Where you search for something like,
It's so infrequent that I've got something in more than one of those areas. And even when
yes.
I do, I can just sort through it really easily.
Device Manager brings up nothing. You have to then go and, I meant a setting called Device Manager as opposed to the game called Device Manager. You know what?
now someone should make a game.
Device Manager Simulator.
Simulator, so it doesn't actually do it.
And it's like and like you have to manage like the little yellow exclamation marks that come up from installing new hardware.
End process.
And formatting your new hard drive. So it should have like device and disk manager
Yeah, I
simulator.
was like, wait, what?
I know that's within disk manager, but sometimes the new disk doesn't even show up in device manager, so you have to refresh the list before you format it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, device manager. See, this is why Linus.
Maybe that's going to come into the new line of educational games.
How to use the device manager.
So it's a game. You can reward people on points, and like when you get 10 tasks that you've ended the process of,
Yeah.
you get an achievement.
And the final boss will be a device that Windows Update can't find the drivers for. So you have to search for the PCI vendor ID and the device ID, and you have to go to the PCI database and find it, and then track down a driver on some obscure like driver repository site that doesn't give you a virus.
And then, and yeah, exactly. And you have to like dodge the wrong download button and everything.
You have to dodge the wrong download button, but they'll be moving because it's a boss fight.
100%.
And then there won't actually be a driver revision for your OS, but the OS that it works on runs on the same kernel, so you have to modify the text file to add the support for your OS. I was so mad. It took me probably 2 hours to get some Intel NIC driver working on Windows Home Server
I
once.
knew this was going to have a root in something.
Yes.
I was like, he's going somewhere.
I was so mad. I was like, come on! It's based on Windows 7. There is no reason this shouldn't work. Oh, well, we're Intel. It's a consumer NIC. Buh, buh, buh. I don't care. Windows Home Server is a consumer OS. It's called Home Server.
Home, yeah.
Just because they specifically didn't write in the compatibility for that OS. I really wish that they'd just write out the ones that they know it doesn't work with, as opposed to having to write in the ones that it does work with, because that's what happens with older hardware, is it doesn't get updated even if it does work. Like there's old Wi-Fi adapters that'll still work with Windows 8 in like compatibility mode or whatever else.
Yeah, and then there is that old hardware software where it isn't hard-coded what it works on, it just still works.
And it just won't install
doesn't matter.
unless you fake it, and then it works. Anyway, that was my rant for this half-hour segment of the live stream. Not promising there won't be another one.
There probably will be.
I don't even remember how we
So
got started
about
on
those
that.
friendly old EAs.
Oh, back to... Really? 3 shots at them in one live stream? So speaking of horrible things, the HTC One.
Oh, the microphone.
Yeah.
I was like, where are you going with this?
So,
why are we saying it's horrible? It's usually good.
Nokia got a ban in the EU. I would think Nokia would be happy about anyone who's taking market share away from Samsung. It's like, really? Like, the lesser of two evils at this point, you guys.
Yeah. But I think what they're going to turn this into is like, oh, we got a ban for you, but we can lift it if you pay us royalties on that microphone you got.
Right. So, here, backstory for those who don't know.
Okay, so HTC
is
had
that here?
problems. I don't know.
Oh, seriously?
My bad. I was trying to go really fast.
Dang it, Slick.
I didn't have like any time.
Yeah, I know.
I literally like half
We had a
an
bit of
hour.
a condensed schedule today because we did go to NCIX today. We went early, and then we had to get back early in time to do the live stream so that I can take care of the baby tonight. So it's going to be a long day. Anyway, so HTC One, banned in Europe. Nokia laid the hammer down. Microphone technology,
So the
go.
microphone technology is Nokia's. So Nokia fought it in the courts.
It's a great
and was
mic.
like, yeah. So Nokia fought in the courts. Was like, this is actually kind of our stuff. You can't just put that in that without asking us at all. And HTC's be like, it was our supplier. Ah, but that doesn't
Right.
matter at all because you still used it in your phone. So it's kind of a big patent war, just like everything else in technology at all ever at this point in time.
I heard they're going after it in the US as well, which would
Not
basically give
surprising.
HTC nowhere to sell the One.
No, except for in China where it has an SD
Except
slot.
in China, where they revised the phone. Okay, so get this. So they lose some of the unibodiness of the construction of the phone. So this middle piece, from the line here to the line up here, pops off, dual SIM, and a micro SD slot. Bam. I'm just like, okay, where's mine? I mean, I love the One. I actually do. I have an S4. I haven't been able to bring myself to actually start using the S4 yet. I've had it for like a week and a half. Because I really love the One. I have an Android iSwitched blog update coming soon. But if it had a micro SD card, it would just be like, oh, it'd be perfect because I don't need the removable battery.
HTC has a history with Nokia.
Okay.
Or is it Nokia? It's Nokia, right?
Yeah, it's Nokia.
Yeah, okay. Apparently this is like the 40th time that they've had this type of problem.
Okay.
It's somewhere in the article. So if you read the... we didn't post the article.
No, we didn't post the article, so...
I think it's on Daily Tech. So if you go to Daily Tech, I think the article's on there. And if you read the article, I think it's like the 40th time they've had this style of problem. Not with the One, but like in history. So these two companies have a history. So maybe that comes into the thing where you're like lesser of two evils with Samsung. Maybe it doesn't matter because they just hate each other.
Because it's just like grudge match time. You gotta wonder, like, how much of the margin they make on phones goes to litigating against each other.
So much.
Like, how much cheaper would a phone be for a consumer if they didn't have to spend a butt ton of money paying licensing fees to each other, where it's just like, quite frankly, it's, for lack of a better word, it's just a big circle jerk at a certain point, where it's like, oh, I'll give you money and then you can give me that money and we'll just like, you know, we'll all pat each other on the back.
All the lawyers in the world are like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the courts are just tired of it.
Job preservation. They are. You heard about the thing in the States.
What's that?
Talk
to them! Just because you told me something, I'm trying to get you there.
My brain hurts. I had a migraine like not that long ago. What was I going to say? So I think it was in the States. I haven't read way too much about this, so someone's probably going to prove me wrong somewhere. But basically, the courts are saying, you guys need to stop collaborating, stop helping each other, stop cooperating, close your freaking doors, don't talk to each other anymore. Like, make all your employees sign 80,000-page NDA agreements. Like, stop talking to each other, stop using each other's things, because it's just this gigantic, ridiculous thing of everyone suing each other. So what they're trying to say now is literally just, no. You use your own stuff, stop suing each other, stop using each other's things.
Oh, Steve says that apparently the sales ban is for the mics, for the phones that have already... So the ones that they've already made are okay. They have to remanufacture new phones for that market with a different microphone. But that will cause delays on an already hot device that everyone and their dog and their dog's other pet are waiting for right now. So, okay, maybe not quite as dire as we thought, but it certainly won't be bad.
Can I address that guy's tweet really
Yeah,
quickly?
sure.
The one below it?
The one below it? I hope...
This will be short. I'm not going to go on this super long rant. So there was a leaked video. I have seen it. It's like 20 minutes long. He shows all of the settings in the game except, like, thoroughly scrolls through them except for his video settings. What you need to learn when you're looking at stuff is you need to look at what's not shown. He does not show you the bottom of his video settings.
Okay, you have to give context. How about the people who haven't watched it, like me? What are you talking about?
It doesn't... Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, what about it?
I just said the leaked video.
Yeah, what about it?
It doesn't look very good.
Well, see, I didn't know that.
Very good. Okay. Sorry, the graphics don't look very good in the video.
Dude, you're so fired today.
I'm not. I don't feel very good. Leave me alone. Okay, so the graphics don't look very good in the video, and a lot of people in the comments are like, "Oh my god, this looks terrible." But then if you look at released footage from tons of other reviewers that are all saying it looks great.
So is he playing on a GT 630 or?
Well, the thing is, there's like it shows some settings very high, some other settings very high, but then if you notice, his profile is on custom, and he does not scroll down, and the scroll bar is small. I'm thinking there's a ton of options, and he just choked a whole bunch of them because his whole thing was like, oh, it's terrible, and his name in the game was like the worst or something.
The worst.
So I think he's trying to troll. What I'm trying to say is wait
He should have gotten the beta key instead of that guy. That's what you're trying to say, right?
100%. No. Okay, there's B-roll that's been released by other reviewers that was like taken with fraps, but by Bethesda. So you have to assume and know at that point in time that they are running at the max possible settings.
Yes, on like multiple Titans.
Very possibly.
Very
so
possibly.
you're looking at the best possible use case, and you're looking at the worst possible use case that this guy could fandangle so it looks okay by showing you the very, very little tiny bit of the top of the video settings. Just wait until open beta is out, wait till whatever. You don't have to buy the game. Open beta is going to release at some point in time. They've already said that. It's going to be open. You're going to be able to play it before you have to buy it.
Okay.
As long as you jump on for open beta.
I mean,
just wait. It'll be...
So it all comes back to my strategy, which is to just not pay attention at all. I dropped
Just wait.
$250 on Star Citizen. I haven't looked at a single email they've sent me. Because I'm just going to drop right in there and I'm going to just go for it. Assuming I have any time.
Elder Scrolls Online could look terrible. Personally, I don't care. I still play Morrowind. Graphics aren't the biggest problem for me.
Morrowind is so brutal, though.
Morrowind looks terrible. I still love it. It's Elder Scrolls games to me. It doesn't matter. It's the gameplay. Some games,
He
I'm
can't
like,
resist.
okay.
He's going to talk about Elder Scrolls for another 5 minutes.
Sorry. I tried to make this short. Games like Elder Scrolls, I like the gameplay, I like the storyline, I like being able to free roam, all that kind of stuff. Certain games, like Bioshock and Tomb Raider, gain a huge aspect because they look so good.
Right, it's the ambiance.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
the environment
It's
is huge.
Different games I care more. Anyways, I'm going to try and not talk too much about this so we
Okay.
can actually talk about something else ever.
Okay, so why don't we, let's do a little bit of Twitter. Let's do a little bit of Twitter questions. Why did I get a broken PSU delivered to? I don't know, man. Bad luck? Because you ordered
you
a
were
power supply and you're unlucky.
Yeah. And your name is full name, and your @handle is Linus Questions.
When is the new 14 nanometer Intel plant in Intel going to start production? I have no idea. What I can tell you guys, though, is that we just saw an architecture change. So there will be a process shrink at some point. What they normally do is they manufacture simple things like flash NAND, or NAND flash, I guess is the correct order of that. So they manufacture simple things like NAND flash before they start, or chipsets, for example, before they start manufacturing CPUs there. So probably not for a while, but I guess we'll see.
Apparently it was only in the Netherlands, not the whole EU. The article I read said EU.
I read one that said Netherlands, and I asked you, and then
The article I
you were
read
like,
said EU.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, there you go. We don't mean to misinform y'all, but apparently it happens from time
Today,
to time.
especially, prepping for last stream was really rushed.
You know what we should really have is we should have a disclaimer at the bottom of the screen, like a psychic.
We actually have no idea what we're talking
Information for entertainment purposes only.
about. Like
the-
a sidekick.
Yeah, the disclaimer to end all disclaimers. You know, that's the thing that kills me, is the people who believe in psychics, even though by law they have to have that disclaimer. It's like not believing that cigarettes will put tar in your lungs. It's like, it's on the box. It's on the screen.
They use it in production.
And now that we have HD TVs and we can actually read, remember when all the little fine print used to be actually not possible to read? That was the best.
And that was actually like a problem and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, now we can read it. So now there's no excuse for, like Miss Clara or whatever her name is.
Miss Clara?
Yeah, there's a psychic, like
Oh, I don't follow it
Miss Cleo or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I have a 6870. Oh, this is a good question. My 6870 Twin Frozer has a non-reference PCB, so there is no full cover block available. What do you think of VGA-only water cooling? If you can, honestly, normally what people end up doing in order to make it work is custom making like the MOSFET and RAM heat sinks.
It's not even that hard.
By like cutting up old, like CPU heat sinks or whatever you gotta do.
You can buy them.
You can buy them, but a lot of the time the ones you buy are not good enough. So be really careful. Make sure you have good contact.
Yeah.
Make sure you clean the chips appropriately. Use a really good thermal adhesive. For example, the one that's in my wife's computer, I used not the ones that come on Swiftex MC14s, but I used the ones that I bought aftermarket.
Okay.
3M thermal adhesive that's balling.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they don't come off. Also, don't use little tiny heat sinks unless you're planning to actually aim a fan at the GPU as well.
Yeah.
Use beefy heat sinks. Use awesome heat sinks. Like cut up old CPU heat sinks and make the fins this long if it's on a VRM component. If you do it properly, it's fine. Otherwise, it's a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So it's doable, but it's sketchy, and be careful and be thorough.
So I got ahead of myself, and I kind of thought that his question was about something else. But speaking of non-reference cards, we did a really cool episode of NCIX Tech Tips today. I'm going to eat a pickle off-screen because someone sent me a very kindly worded email. Last week they asked me not to eat pickles on camera, but I'm hungry, and I haven't eaten much
So you're
today.
going to eat pickles
I'm going to go over
on
there.
stream, but off camera.
Yeah, over
And you're
there.
probably going to try and interject in what I'm saying.
No,
so
no,
you're
I
probably
won't.
Gonna
I
talk
won't,
while
because
eating a
you're going to cover it adequately this time, or
Probably
you're fired.
not. My brain hurts. I just had a headache.
Pickle.
So what we did was we took a 650 Ti boost and pitted it against a 650 Ti boost overclock edition from MSI, and pitted it against a reference card from EVGA, a 660. So two different GPUs. One is a step behind but overclocked from the factory, and one is a step ahead but not overclocked from the factory. And unlike how we do it at Linus Tech Tips, where we just overclock everything, this was NCX Tech Tips, so neither were overclocked by us. There was the one that was overclocked from the factory, and the one that wasn't. And the one that wasn't was a 660, and the one that was 660 Ti boost. 650 Ti boost, sorry. We then played, what was it, Crysis 2, Far Cry 3, and Witcher 2. Actually, anyways, I'm not going to get into that because I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say about that. But yeah, we did those 3 games, and then pitted them against each other, and I don't even know what the result was. Which is one reason why I have to interject, because remember, you're the only one that has the numbers for this.
Okay, well, I'm almost done my pickle.
You're still eating a pickle on the stream, then.
Okay.
You were chewing when you came on stream.
I'm sorry. All right, so results-wise, it was really interesting because I have a lot of people ask me, which, 660 Ti should I get? And the answer is, unless you're buying the cheapest one, get a 670. Okay? Which 650 Ti boost should I get? The cheapest one or get a 660? Because even though the 650 Ti was overclocked from the factory, our 660, or did I say 6? Even though see, this is so confusing. Even though the 650 Ti boost was overclocked from the factory, our 660 vanilla reference bone stock card outperformed it by 10% while being only $10 more expensive. So that's a 5% difference in price for a 10% difference in performance. Now, here's something that you guys need to understand about overclocking headroom. Reference cards versus non-reference cards. Sometimes a reference card will have X amount of overclocking headroom over the stock reference clock. And then a non-reference card will have Y amount of overclocking headroom. But it's not like it overclocks 3 times as much. It doesn't work that way. It's a GPU limitation. So if it overclocks a little bit more, then it might get a slightly higher, factory clock, but that ceiling is still pretty close. So that reference card hasn't been overclocked yet, meaning that, okay, so we got our 650, let's say the gap is like this, and our 650 Ti boost makes it to here because it has a factory overclock, but there's still a 10% delta, okay? That doesn't mean that both of these cards can still overclock this much, and the difference will always be like that. This one has had some of its overclocking headroom used up, so it might make it this much further, whereas this has used no overclocking headroom. It can go this much further, but maybe not quite this much further. So that difference in performance, I know this isn't a very good visual, but the point is that you have a certain amount of overclocking headroom. If they use it up at the factory, they used it up at the factory. It's not like you couldn't have taken a reference card and overclocked it to where that factory OC card is. Sometimes there is a binning process. Something like an EVGA classified card. Something like an Asus Aries level card. Something like an ROG card, matrix card. They are binning those. They are making sure that those are the most overclockable GPUs. Our matrix 7970 was a beast. Destroyed everything single GPU that we've seen to date, other than the Titan. Absolute beast. So but these mildly overclocked cards, like a Superclock or a Superclock Plus.
I would be looking more into other things. If you're getting an aftermarket cooler instead of a reference cooler, like audio levels, you might get better temperatures if you specifically really want low temperatures. Looks, stuff like that.
So if those are your factors, then okay, by all means, look at a lower tier card that has other features that you appreciate. Maybe you want different connectors on the back.
Yeah.
This is something to consider. But if you're thinking gaming performance, buy a better card. That's it. Same thing for dual GPU.
Buy a better card, overclock it yourself.
2 650 Ti boosts or a single 670. Buy a 670. Single GPU card and buy the best GPU you can afford. So that was my lecture on that.
There's weird kind of...
There's exceptions.
There's exceptions to the rule.
Yes.
Like 660 Ti Hawk from
yes.
Power Edition from MSI when that first released.
Was a better deal than a 670.
But then now things have changed.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah.
Now it's been nerfed a little bit, so...
Yeah. There's slight exceptions to the rule, but that's usually just kind of how it goes.
And there are other exceptions to the rule, so such as 670 versus 680. A factory overclocked 670 can get pretty darn close to 680 performance. 680 does cost a lot more in a lot of cases. Especially once you get up to the higher tier cards, the rules start to change. So usually the best bang for the buck, well, the best extreme performance bang for the buck is the second one down. So as long as it's based on the same GPU as the high-end one, a lot of the time you'll get very similar frequencies, but it'll have some CUDA cores, some SMX units, some stream processors, whatever they happen to be called. It'll have some disabled, so it'll be slightly lower performance, but it'll be darn close. As long as you've got enough VRAM, then it's often better to go with that option versus the higher-end card. But I still wouldn't spend $400 on, you know, a 660 Ti if that'll get me a 670, no matter what. No matter how OC and, like, you know, Uber it is.
The only thing I would worry about at that point is, like, what I'm doing with my build. But if I'm buying a $400 card, I'm hoping I'm water cooling.
Yeah, I get, okay, water cooling's another one.
Because then that won't show the... If I don't like a reference cooler, that won't show the reference cooler. Certain reference coolers, like the Titan, I kind of want to leave that because that reference cooler is just so cool. Like, I don't want to change the reference cooler. I almost don't even want to water cool it. I just want to leave it how it is because it looks so good. We should almost maybe cool it with our... What's the deal with the after party this week?
I don't know. What's the deal?
Because we've got 25 minutes left.
Oh, let's do our news items from the forum of the week, and let's do our build logs
log.
of the week and all that kind of stuff then. Yeah.
Are we going to talk about the forum in general on the after party or...
Yeah,
no?
let's move that to after party.
Okay.
So let's do our so community news items. Guys, the Linus Tech Tips forum is awesome now.
Now.
Finally, it's actually awesome. Here. Okay, you know what? Let's do... Okay, are you ready for this?
No. I'm not ready for this.
Okay.
I have a feeling... Oh, God.
Everyone go to linustechtips.com right now. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
See, Slick's doing it.
I'm
Give in to
worried.
peer pressure. linustechtips.com. Go.
I think it doesn't care.
Will it handle it? So we are at a hosting service now. It is no longer being hosted at NCIX. So bandwidth is no longer as much of a concern. Now, when we first were hosting it at NCIX, bandwidth wasn't the issue. The issue was actually caused by vBulletin's inefficiencies compared to what we're using now, which is IPS. So then, by the time vBulletin started to get a little bit more efficient, NCIX moved a lot of their operation. Okay, well, it crashed, fine. So it looks like it can only handle so much. So,
it's holding.
Oh, it made it. Okay. NCIX moved part of their operation to the place where we were hosting it, and they had to throttle our internet connection. So we only had, 25 megabit up?
Yeah.
So now we have about 800 megabit up. And instead of the homemade server that we were using before, 1,400 users online. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. And instead of the... what was I even saying?
I can't believe that page even refreshed. Damn. Okay, I gotta do a shout out. Thank you, mod team in general, for helping me over like the 3 days that I didn't sleep. Thank you, Mr. Wizard, for just like hauling the forum into existence because there was no other way that was happening. And thank you, Windspeed, for the current hosting situation.
Yeah, one of our moderators
all
is a
of those
boss.
things coming in, like without all the mods coming in and helping
Yeah.
me, without Mr. Wizard like just championing the entire thing, without IPS making that converter actually work.
Yep.
Like there was so many groups that actually made
We
this
didn't
happen.
want to promise anything because we weren't sure if all these stars were going to align, especially with all the
Yeah.
things that had gone wrong up till now.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff that actually made this possible. So thanks everybody that helped me over the last little while actually make this happen.
So we're running on an octa-core server with 32 gigs of RAM with 800 megabit up, and we're on a proper hosting service now.
Windspeed's
Guys,
a boss.
welcome to the forum. The forum is awesome. It's been super active. Like, I don't know how often you click the view new content button up at the top right. Holy crap. Guys,
Honestly, I've spent the last 3 days in the control panel.
if you have a question, I've started posting. Honestly, I was at the point where I was frustrated
Me too.
with the old forum. I couldn't even use it.
I was pretty much only operating through PMs.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm finding this the most enjoyable forum I've ever been a member of. Because I look at any question, and like, even if I try to ninja and get in there and like be the first one to answer, I can't be.
And people are friendly, which is one
Yes.
thing that I actually really like.
And you know what? I'm gonna be making a point, and you should too, and guys, we all should, of keeping the community friendly. I don't want to see like, let me Google that for you links. I don't want to see this should be obvious to you. I don't want to see any kind of put downs because I want Linus Tech Tips Forum to be the place where people can go and have a friendly discussion even if they don't understand the topic. And, you know, obviously, obvious troll is obvious is going to happen from time to time. Let the moderation team deal with it. Flag it.
They're
Flag
good
it if
guys.
you think it's a problem.
Our moderation team's good. We now actually have a report system that works. Before,
I know. It just popped up, and I moderated something, and it just worked.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
so before, the report system from before, people that reported before, thank you.
Yeah.
That helped, but the only person doing it was me. So it was really, really hard to keep up with that many reports.
And those of
like,
you who sent me PMs before, my inbox has been broken for weeks. I'm sorry. Like, I wanted to reply to you.
he actually was not able to reply.
I typed up replies like this long, and I'd click send, and it just, oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
It would just disappear. So now the PM system's properly working.
Yeah.
Everyone lost their PMs. I'm sorry. If I gave Envision Power Services more time, they would have made it work.
But we wanted the forum going.
I did not give them enough time. They gave me like the files and they were like, this might work for most things, probably maybe. And I was like, all right, we're doing it. So, because it worked enough. Attachments kind of broke. PMs don't exist anymore. Signatures kind of broke a little bit. Like there's a few things that broke, but for the most part, it's working fine. And we have almost 1,800
users online. There is no way the vBulletin forum would have handled it. No way.
It couldn't.
There's no way.
It's not nearly efficient enough.
No.
And our old server couldn't.
Our old CPU used to max out at 100% CPU load at times during the day
with like 300 people on.
with like 300 people on, whereas now we have 1,700 people on. And I think you said we had 300 people on before, and it was like 3% CPU.
Yeah, it just doesn't care.
It's just so much more efficient.
right now.
But guys, yeah, welcome to the forum. Ask your questions. We're trying to create a friendly community. Ask some questions, answer some questions, have some fun. You know, join the community. It's all good. It's all good things. So, you know, thank you guys for hanging in there with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we...
People like, okay, I'm going to directly call out a random forum member. Ghost, hello. I don't even know if you watch the forums. He was a huge, massive poster. Like one
massive
of our
contributor
original,
at the
like,
beginning.
huge, I post a ton people.
Yeah.
And his post count started rotting. For no reason. Like vBulletin's just a jerk and started taking post count away from him. No idea why. And like everything else broke. So he's like, yo, I'm just gonna wait and I'll come back later. He's back. Yeah. So that's awesome.
He
Welcome
came back like the minute that we launched the new forum. It's like, because we felt bad. We're like, these people are trying to contribute and help us build a community here, and we appreciate it, and we're not giving them a good enough platform.
Yeah. And like I used Ghost, but he wasn't the only case of that.
Yeah. And like, it's one of those things where it's like, the people in this room here lost sleep over that bad situation.
A lot of sleep.
So, you know, yeah. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us, and we're proud to deliver you a platform that actually works now. And also proud to see that we have 2,900 live viewers right now. This is one of our biggest live streams ever. So yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out with us. So let's do our community news items. We want the news section of Linus Tech Tips Forum to be like awesome. We want it to be up to date, and we want one of the ways that we can help you guys, you know, feel great about contributing to be that we will call you out on the live stream and let you know that things are that your posts are awesome and they are appreciated. So we have member Mono here, who posted a PC Per article about AMD improving crossfire performance with a prototype driver. Now, it just so happens that I was sitting right next to Ryan Shrout from PC Per as he was writing this article because I was at an Asus conference and he happened to be there as well. That was about Intel's upcoming Haswell CPUs. And Asus motherboards that'll go with them and the ecosystem that goes around it. So I was looking over his shoulder, I was like, I'm looking at what you got here, Ryan. What you got here? What you got here, Ryan? And he's like, dude, I'm trying to write an article. And I'm like, yeah, what you got? What you got? And it was actually awesome. This is the first time I've met Ryan in person. Super cool guy. We didn't get much of a chance to hang out because we weren't there very long. But anyway, he was showing me. Obviously, I didn't have to rely on YouTube. Anyway, big thanks to Mono for contributing this topic. He was showing me, I didn't have to watch YouTube links. He had it all locally on his computer, which was great. Side-by-sides of how there was so much more visual tearing in the release driver and then the prototype driver. Guys, this prototype driver is probably 6 to 10 weeks from an actual release.
It's not the beta drivers.
Yes.
It is not the currently downloadable beta
no,
drivers.
it is a prototype. It's a completely different thing. It's not even based on the current 13.5. It's
No.
based on an older, like 12 point something driver, if I recall correctly.
I don't know that.
Okay,
but
it's
like,
based on an old ass driver.
Yeah.
And
I meant, I wasn't saying you're wrong. I have no information.
yeah, no. So it's based on an old driver, but it is addressing the frame time differences, which can cause AMD Crossfire solutions to have high frame rates, but choppy actual perceived performance. That's what it's causing right now. And this prototype driver hasn't made it as good as NVIDIA's solution yet, because NVIDIA has hardware that takes care of this. But it's a software fix that makes it look way better. So it's basically taking games that are already optimized for the card on crappier, older drivers, not crappier, but older, less optimized drivers, throwing in this frame time smoothing algorithm and bringing it up to 20% better than a much newer, much more optimized per game driver. So the future is bright for Crossfire owners. However, his conclusion in the review, which is what I think he was writing when I was standing over him, was, okay, that still doesn't mean I can recommend the 7990, because it comes with a butt ton of games, and this is all good.
8 games or something?
But the gaming experience today, what you get for $1,000 today, is not what this prototype driver is.
Yeah.
That won't be available for a while. And when the driver comes with the fix, we'll look at it again. But it's not there yet.
Yep.
And I think that's a very fair and honest conclusion. So anyway, it was cool to sort of stand over him and have him explain in person. It's one thing to read a review from a highly technical author. It's another to sit next to them while they're writing the article and have them explain their thought process as every word goes onto the page. So it was very cool. Big shout out to Ryan at PCPer on Twitter. So guys, go say hi to Ryan. Because apparently I can just say, go to a website and you guys will do it. You guys are awesome. So go say hi to Ryan. Let's flood his Twitter right now. At PCPER. At PCPer. Thanks, Ryan, for hanging out with Linus. Linus thinks you're cool.
Coup.
You're cool.
Leave off the L.
Yeah, leave off the L. Linus thinks you're cool. You can put an apostrophe, though.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, so one of the other community news items was actually something we covered already, but I want to give credit where credit is due to our forum contributors. Joe Z is the one who posted this article with this picture showing an HTC One with the removable back that shows micro SD expansion and dual SIM expansion. So that is the Chinese model, and I want one.
I didn't realize how big the removable back was. I wonder if this means that super technical people, maybe with special screwdrivers or something,
It's a different phone. Different internals.
are going to be able to get inside and change the battery.
No, because it's a unibody back on the North American model.
Oh.
And the
No, I mean
battery
with
is
this
still
one. I mean
battery
with
is
this
still
one.
non-removable. And
Okay.
based on the tooling process of this phone, the sandwich construction, there's no way they're getting in there.
Fully, okay. Because
Yeah.
people like iFixit or whatever they're called, they usually find ways, even when people say it's not removable.
Yeah, they can find. I really doubt it. It's built so solidly.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like
yeah.
you might be able to take it apart, but I can't imagine you'd ever be able to put it back together with the same fit and finish that it has.
Right.
And that's a thing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Okay, and then our next one is from... Oh, I'm really excited about this. So you guys know, okay, while I might not be... Oh, Josie again, you're on a roll. Asus introduces external DAC with 120 decibel sound-to-noise ratio, 600 ohm headphone amp, and swappable op amps. The Essence STU. Know nothing about price. Absolutely nothing about price, which is like... Okay, thanks, Asus. Because this doesn't tell me how it compares to something like an Essence One or an Essence One Muse Edition.
No idea.
Because the Essence One is an external DAC with a headphone amp that's capable of driving 600 ohm headphones.
And Muse Edition is like a slight improvement on that.
This looks like it might be slightly lower end than Essence One.
Essence One looks like it had more stuff.
Yeah.
Like slightly more features.
Here, if we just kind of control plus this so you guys can check it out as well.
It looks classier in my opinion.
Very classy looking. The Essence One has kind of like a weird industrial design that's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
This looks like a piece of audio equipment, which
Yeah.
is very cool.
Yeah.
And the two things that confuse me about this are that they're calling it audiophile grade, which audiophiles are the only ones who are allowed to call something audiophile grade a lot of the time.
Yeah.
It's like it's part of that's a thing.
Well, they called the last one audiophile grade as well.
They did. But it also says, so sort of bringing like the quality of an Essence ST or STX to an external unit, but offers even more premium audio quality plus easy controls and connectivity to notebooks. So what is it? Is it something like an ST, STX, Zents class card in an external box, which has advantages, so reduced interference, as well as the clean signal that is USB, as well as being able to plug it into a notebook? Or is it an even higher end solution? I don't quite know, but I'm really excited to try it out.
Yeah, that should be really cool. I hope we get one.
I hope we get one. If anyone from Asus is watching. Speaking of, if anyone from BlackBerry is watching, which I said before, we have a contact at BlackBerry now. Z10, coming. Q10, coming later. So I am going to be doing a BlackBerry I switched.
Hopefully, like, people just keep on releasing random phones.
Yeah.
You just never get to stop doing I switched.
They tried to deliver it today,
Oh, really?
but no one was here. So it'll come on Monday. Z10's coming. So once I finish Android, and then once I finish, I'm like, how am I going to do all this? Maybe we should have you do the BlackBerry I switched.
I'd actually be okay with
You're a
that.
hardcore Android guy. This would be interesting. Guys, hit @SlickPC on Twitter and let him know what you think. @SlickPC on Twitter, right there. Actually, that's his penis, but sort of the overlay that's covering that. Hit @SlickPC on Twitter and let him know if you think he should be the one to host the BlackBerry I switched. So,
Of course, now I'm going to have to do it.
well,
But I'm kind of interested in BlackBerry.
they might not
actually.
want you to, so.
Which one is the one that has the keyboard on it?
That's the Q10. So Q10's coming probably a few weeks later or something.
I would rather try that one.
You should try both.
Sure.
So it should be, you have to have the touchscreen BlackBerry 10 experience and the buttoned BlackBerry
I'll do
10
like
experience.
1515 or something?
Something like that would make a ton of sense.
Sure.
And would really educate people not only about the BB10 experience, but also which of these two flagship grade phones is actually better for me.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. So he's an S3 user. So
Yeah.
it'll be like, what will it be like to go from this mature platform, this mature handset,
I don't know where to put my phone.
to
Anyways,
this
yeah.
like new platform?
And I've had my S3 for a while now, and I'm very comfortable with my current configuration.
Let me tell you, going from comfort zone to new phone platform,
Which is why, I'm excited to try new things, but at the same time, I'm
all the things that just work.
I know my S3. I really know my S3.
All right. So we've got a couple more things. Guys, we want you to post your build logs in the Linus Tech Tips forum because build logs are fun for people to look at. They are fun for... What, seriously?
This is the case that he used.
Oh, this is the case. Oh, okay, so we got a big shout out for Tasty PC TV on YouTube. That's the girl with the duck face that does videos on the YouTube.
And I think I think her build was black and red, and his build's black and red too.
Okay, so he posted her video.
Yeah, I don't know.
I forget what I was saying. Yeah, we want you guys to post your builds because people love seeing your builds. People love commenting on builds. I think people love having others comment on their builds. So here we've got quite the GPU lineup here. That looks like a couple of 580s or 680s.
He didn't end up using all those.
Didn't end up using all.
I
Well,
didn't,
I would hope not.
read way too into it because I did not have time. I'm sorry. This week's live stream was crazy because we had to try and figure everything out. But he gets down into it. Pictures start coming pretty quick.
All right. See, I like this. I've done this before. Where
Alternating colors?
Yeah, mixing and matching the RAM. See how the RAM sticks match the DIMM slot? Nice little touches like that. I like it.
Yeah, I totally like that.
100% approve of this.
The only time I usually go against that is with super clean finish RAM. Like original Dominators and Mushkin Silverlines. The old ones, remember when it just said Mushkin on it?
Yeah.
Like a full set of that looked so good.
That's true.
So
That's true.
good.
But remember
then if
that
you
one with the 2 Kingston sticks and the 2 Anion sticks where they had a similar style of spreader, but they were alternate colors, blue and black?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks good.
See, like, that looks really cool. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Oh, yeah. Taking apart the graphics card. That must be a Titan.
GK110.
Yep. Look at all them RAM. That RAM.
So he works at a computer shop.
Okay.
I don't know if this was for a customer or not. I just remember he works at a computer shop. He got Corsair Link to work, so...
Yeah, so kudos.
Yeah.
That back-mounted SSD, love that.
Very cool.
Very clean.
Yep.
AX860 looks like that was colored. Oh no, unless it's an 860i, in which case it should be red. Can't tell. Can't tell from here. Okay.
He's got
Very
red
nice.
cables going directly into it, so that
Nice water cooling.
is very possibly the cable. Wait, is that it? STX?
Um,
Doesn't he need power going to that?
Not sure. Yeah, it might come later. He hasn't.
Okay.
He hasn't got everything wired up yet.
Right. Okay.
Very nice sleeved. Very nice sleeved cables. Very nice. See the way he's used angled fittings
here too.
Yeah.
Just so it gets down under those cables. Like looks very
Yeah,
good.
makes it look much more clean. I'm too cheap to buy angled fittings personally,
He
but
definitely planned it out, which
Yeah.
is nice.
planning makes the build look so much stronger.
Yeah.
Not the best photography skills I've ever seen, but I don't think we should penalize
But it
people
could
based
also
on
be
that.
like a phone.
Yeah, it
You
probably
never-
is, based
yeah.
on how much noise there is in the images.
Yeah. So don't worry about
Alpha Cool's uber thick radiator, look at that thing.
it. That's so beast.
See, that's how big a G1/4 fitting is there, guys. Love it. Absolutely love it. So here's what the machine
that
looks
looks
like
really good.
in its native environment. Very, very nice. Love that microphone setup. That is what, this is the kind of thing that Diesel was using, where he had like, Diesel had like a pro-grade like studio recording microphone that he was using for voice chat in games.
It's like screw seeing my third monitor.
It's
I don't
like,
even care.
yeah, I'm too good for that. Like too late.
That's awesome.
So yeah, featured build this week. I didn't even catch the name. I'm sorry. Kenny6. Great job. You
Project
got
Banana
featured.
Phones.
Project Banana Phones. All right, I'm going to let you walk through this one. I'm going to have the last piece of my pickle.
Go down to. Oh, I have to use this little tiny keyboard.
I'm eating my pickle. I'm busy.
Oh, sorry guys. Might actually
Page
take
up,
me a
page
little
down. Function, page.
bit. Where is it? There we go. That's not working. That's still not working. That's now working. Okay, so using R4. I'm gonna skip through these pretty quick because it's fairly basic stuff until we kind of get to the second page. He's just showing.
Whoa.
He strips it and then he paints the back so it's white because it's an R4.
Gorgeous.
So he's matching the other slots.
Nice
That's
touch.
really cool.
Yep, those little touches make
Very,
all the
very
difference.
cool. And like he had to take
Everything
the shroud
apart.
off
Wow.
so that he could get to it properly, right?
Right.
So it makes sense. So that is great and looks really cool
Mm-hmm.
because there's like you don't see that. What's going on here?
I wanted to do it, but then I was just lazy and busy.
Mod is backplate. So here's like a in progress shot. The
Very
graphics
clean.
card's not in there yet. A lot of stuff isn't in there yet, but like
An
you can see
AMD
scans like
build.
and everything.
Look
Yeah,
at that.
that's another reason why I wanted to bring it on. I don't
Okay.
think we've had one yet.
I don't think we've had one yet.
So that's kind of cool to see.
It's funny because I got trashed so hard for saying something like the majority of enthusiast gaming builds are Intel. And it's just like, guys, I don't make the rules. People are like, oh, Linus is an Intel fanboy. He said the majority. It's like, no, it's just, it is
The
what
numbers are just kind of there.
it is. Yeah.
I don't know what you want from us. These are people quoting his post. So I got a little bit confused by this, but it's people quoting his post. So you see the same picture like a billion times.
I love that. Back-mounted SSD.
Background SSDs.
Mind you, the way they do that in the R4 is not my favorite. You have to take the motherboard off.
To be able to take it off or put it on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because you have to screw in from the
I
motherboard
can't
side.
see you.
Um,
He's gesturing to the camera.
I talk with my hands, leave me alone. So to make his cables look nice, he used extensions, which is a really good way to go. Save money and time because it looks just as good on this angle, except you can see them coming from the power supply. But like where you're mainly looking, it looks just as good from this angle. So this is a slightly in progress shot. You can kind of see the PCI, like the back there where he painted it, where it's white, looks great, matches everything else. There's a better shot of that.
You should gesture with the mouse as opposed to with your hand.
I know, that's why I said, oh crap. I'm really not good at using this little tiny keyboard. There you go. White.
Point with the mouse, not your hand.
Where is it? White.
Okay, I'm just going to take over. Okay, why
Thank
don't you
you.
talk, but I'll just direct it.
So go
Okay, so
down.
guys, right there, that's the
I've
white.
definitely seen that.
yeah,
You can-
okay.
You can definitely go down now.
Okay,
We've kind of seen that shot already.
yeah.
Just kind of
Some
some items and
Shots
stuff.
of the hardware.
He's got his CPU cooler on there. And go down though.
Is that a
Page 2. You have to go
stock
page 2.
CPU
Just
cooler?
go to page 2.
Who even posts
Just
a
go to
picture with the
page
stock
2.
CPU cooler?
Okay.
He's
go down.
fired. Oh, there we go.
Water
That's more
I
like it.
told you.
Okay. Very
so
nice.
He starts his water cooling installation. So really long runs. One thing I was interested in is if you could flip the radiator over. I know looking at clearance, maybe because of the ports, that it might not fit, but there might be some type of custom modding. Maybe point with the mouse.
Yeah, okay, so the radiator here.
Maybe some type of custom modding that he could do to take that bracket off right there. And then he might actually be able to fit the radiator the other way around.
The advantage of turning the radiator the other way is also that it enables it to bleed the air bubbles out much more easily
Yep.
because they'll naturally go to the top where the holes will be.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then so way shorter runs, so it'll look cleaner.
Yeah.
And then natural bleeding, like he just said. So that's actually that would be nice. I'm thinking what he did was he put it the other way and it didn't fit. But if he
Right.
could find some way to take, because that's for hard drive cages.
Right.
If he could find some way to take that off
Yep.
without like damaging everything.
Is it possible that he could add a GPU block in the future? Then this run would make more sense. So
then that's even that's
Right.
completely true.
there we go. Still very clean looking
It
build.
looks nice. It's just the runs could be shorter, which is I don't know. It's not.
Yep.
It's not the biggest deal, but it looks really it looks really good.
Very attainable build, and so that is a build from Antarctic Cache. That is the strangest name that I think that I've seen on the forum.
Are you
yet.
sure that was the poster? Check because those are quotes that you're reading.
Yep, Antarctic Cache.
Okay, cool.
So there you go.
That looks so good. The
Yeah, I like
back
it.
with the colored back on the graphics card.
All right, so let's go back to our regular view of the live stream, and I think that pretty much. Oh, it's 5:30. Can you? It's like look, it's like there's light outside, and we're done the live stream. Isn't this weird?
Done.
Yeah, well done. After party's coming later. So I've had quite a few people complain that they don't want After Party to not be uploaded to YouTube. So I'm thinking After Party goes on YouTube with a link in the description of the regular live stream. And it'll be an unlisted video, but you can click the link in the description. You can watch After Party should you so desire. So that is it for the Linus Tech Tips live stream for this week. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll be back in just a moment with some After Party action where it's less structured. I can't imagine it being less structured than what we just did.
Same time next week, 4 p.m.
Yeah. This time, guys, put it in your calendar. I can't believe how many people ask me every week when the live stream is.
It could be first-time viewers. You don't know.
No, sometimes it's the same guys. I've seen this happen.
Oh, that's
and you know what's funny
fantastic.
is I've changed the time once now. This is it.
This is the first time.
Since I started it, it's been
Yeah.
9 p.m. Friday night. Now we're moving to 4 p.m. Friday afternoon, and I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
I think this is going to work. Look how many people tuned in today. 3,100
It's a way better time
viewers.
slot. It's a way better time slot.
All right.
It's unfortunate for the people that can't watch it now, but overall, it's a way better time slot. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.